afternoon is going on well. So in this next round, we business management team have a presentation for us. Please round of applause for them. They come on the screen. Much better.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Naomi. Next is we evolve in how we achieve 22. What we do next is using technology. Point logical to make business using Microsoft Power Platform as well as data do SharePoint migration. We also management process and we take it superheaded by and Kechika and we Danma Audu. Achievement is some points. We also have 4 apps that have been built so far in Microsoft App Store. So the night apps in also apps using the Power Platform. We've also done some engagements and in Botswana. We've done some pre-sale in Botswana, some training in Kenya, business Ghana, we just currently Airtel Tigo, Ghana Water. The members have done the management. We've also been able to get expert and associate certificate to our next slide. Team members have been able to get so development certifications. We have 80 members that have got. We have 7 members that have been able to be functional consultants associates. 60 members got from our associates. 7 members the Power Platform, the Power Associates, and certified trainers. And then we have 12 team members that have Power Platform fundamentals. Quite capable department. Very much. We have offerings that are quite like the medical, the logistic, as general, such as the human 360. Some are one I said during the technical expertise. We also have the and then we have the multicultural environment. We have some team members that are clean as well as Ghana. So we have low project turnaround time based on some of the things we use. Some of the environmental or that have so far like the issues with getting power. Now, lack of project financial visibility. There are also many projects financial worth. That's in our department. And then we don't we go product which is which with organizations or businesses. And then we've noticed that buyers, and as a result of this, we mostly give our products out for free. We realize that buyers want our product at a low and cost of production is actually very high. What the opportunity we have is a career then. Currently, we have 2 interns from academy, which we plan working more. And when we have the global market, we'll be able to support most of our. And then we have Microsoft Apps, which is currently helping us showcasing the next. We hope to achieve 2022 goal. We want to partner with Microsoft. We have a whole team in that. The one that showed us the capabilities that we have so far. And then we plan on improving our partnership with the businesses such as INS. So, collaborating with SO client engagement. Exactly. Now, our technical first one is the advanced specialization in system solutions for Microsoft Teams. We want to add specialization just came in. We also want the advanced specialization on low-code application development. Now, last year, this was going to be we had in attaining this application was the fact that but currently we have 3 apps that 2 are from Ghana. We don't we're going to build capability robotic process automation that I request from the global team that is going to, and then we'll also integrate with the solution. Now, this year we achieved $1 million. The breakdown aims to achieve $571,000 in SharePoint and documentation. We aim to achieve 150 in Power Platform. All this in training. When I mean training, I mean SharePoint, Microsoft project, and training. Then our IP solution, that's our offering. The applications, we have the billing, and all achieve $1,000 and amount of services. Also want to a total of 5,000. Currently, we have with all subsidiaries and hopefully with PH Energy and Airtel. And then we have the app day to get 153,000 and mainstream program. So all this out to 1,012,000. Now, how do we explain strategy and how? Thank you
very much. You also present the amounts we are trying to meet as 23. Next slide. Right. Next. Yeah. Right. We have guys there. Strategy, which speaks to trying to come up with likes of IAM, we have the likes of our service. I would say that they are not so familiar competitors, right? So speaks to productivity, collaborations, and what we'll be doing is we'll be giving to right to the appetite. So once the idea is after the but push that processes to them, the management, business process automation. So that's our plan and strategy. So we plan relationship with the sales team. That is as far as Reliance is concerned. We talk about the Ghana team, and so bi-weekly with the sales team in Botswana. Other sales unit, go Abuja, Botswana, Kenya, and other countries, right? So we'll be able to also products that are peculiar to some regions, right? So we are familiar with the legal Nigeria settings. What are the Pakistan in Botswana, the ones in so that we come up solutions that is for them. Talking of, let me go back to works with I do now. We as I said, I will be able to publish 4 of our enough, right? So we increasing of flow. Customer can just next slide. All right. About our human capital strategy. From the this project comes from the top. So the project comes being digested by Olamide Aziz, and then whichever department that is being deployed to, for instance, the Power Platform, it's so with our particular fields where our projects are called that speaks to how we can easily actually also we've been able to bring up the intent that the developers do this developers and those developers this
thank you so much, Dr. Clay. So you can stay there. So any question that you have for the business enhancement team?
All right, thank you, Team BE, for the presentation. So mine is not a question, it's more of a learning in terms of how we have engaged. And I think the key thing we need to do as SO and BE and obviously maybe CE is the learnings from the business application offerings. I'm sure you and all of that we run, right? So I think I recall last year we ran about a couple of workshops that we couldn't be paid for because at the time we didn't understand the process. And according to Microsoft, sometimes there can be delays in having the PO whilst the customer is obviously eager to start utilizing. So what I would suggest takes out the program. So whenever that happens, as the business applications team, specifically under BE, What we can do is obviously uptake this as SO, as CE, and ensure that we bring along every team member to fill in the gaps. And then we can obviously have champions in which we can also generate revenue in this manner. We don't need to, wait for a specific time for us to start thinking about this. So I think it's also a priority we need to include to say for the other work. There is a knowledge gap. So let's see.
For your question, it was a question and yeah, and a suggestion. I'll say that. So there's someone with a question, please.
Just pardon me if you the financial goals, like what's down for us. So
Yeah. So basically, we already categorize all our products and
the leads that were generated. Some were, financially driven, while some were, freemium. We just did that for free and all that. So give and take, we've been able to look at the activity that was generated as the lead for last year. We were able to come up with there are certain services we get to drive, we get to give out for free.
Bless you now, me now. Hip, 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 hip.
For FY22. Just while that's coming up, basically, or data as we know it, just like practical in the organization. So we are moving inside the organization and also try to refocus the way we do our things, just so that we can actually have better results of units. And going forward, we are having walk around, think around. So, slide. So, of course, we are doing Mr. Day, and then now we have INS, then we have PLM. I'm just quickly talk about it a little bit, like within the unit. Anytime we try to say we are on the call, maybe people within the organization, I mean very little people know who that for INS is. So that basically stands for data strategy, INS for industry strategy. Having which is services, right? We will be doing that's of course will focus on data analytics, warehousing, everything that revolves around that. INS, of course, retains the core focus, having a new unit which is focused on, say, the low hanging fruit that are very easy. One thing that we have realized because of our engagement with so others that we practically have longer sales within the time it will take to data warehouse, maybe 6 months, right? So a lot of will I say attention or focus is focused on maybe the that are easier to sell and have maybe shorter turnaround time, just right, which basically what as an eye having less involved in everything, maybe just data modernization or application. So I'm going to be talking through this alongside my colleagues next time. So we're going to be talking down what we've done so far, what we are looking to do, and how we are looking to do like this. So look at 2021 review. And next slide, please. Okay, so because of the year, quite 21, trying to 21 actually started with had one team DAS, so unit, and we closed the year with plus pre-sales engagement across entire Reliance, and then we had BI licenses provisioned. Further, we were able to go through because those were like our first that this year is to be wrapped up, and so we self-sponsored, which we were able to some general conversation from that. Verification use of is relatively new, so there's a lot of effort in getting verification. So last year we had 10. This year to double this if as I mentioned, we have 5 talents. We started from and we are 6. So at about so let's look at our 2020. This year we set up conservative number in terms of what we want to make $226,000 breakdown what we have seen this year. Numbers to this to say, okay, for my presentation, able to run through list one after. So the most for migration and implementation, $75,000 for 5,000 mainstream products, which is basically the next products that know that and how we to more solutions. We are taking for that we're looking at $70,000 in all the two, which of course very number, but we are confident that we can do this. Next. How exactly are we to achieve we're looking to do and get aggressive pre-sales activities, right? Over the course of the next few months, we're looking to plus I mentioned we held last year, we're able to number to action workshop, dashboarding, and also self-sponsored webinars and workshops to generate like that thing we're looking at in terms of strategies, with Botswana and I just initially that our dashboard there are also some knowledge that to sell has to be like not really move from ABI some more solutions, and to do warehousing calls, get understand what that we have, what and the scenarios where value, what is the value, as how to get yourself this basically puts more spotlight into what a lot of us can take. I mean, this extra with Botswana, Ghana, Pakistan, involve even in for gas, some of these has moved ahead. So we're looking to build IP. We've had some on how dashboards that are using the cost available organizations or software that is, and we want to leverage reporting to build custom reports for this that is going to be like a companies can actually just use our product, connect it to the system, and report in. And if there are weeks or just going to be very minimal. Use some of these custom reports and dashboards, custom connect. This the ways we can actually enter the global, and we can start maybe turn eyes and get to some. Also looking to publish source and basically drive this. Also, a strategic partners, Microsoft Account Manager. Currently, we are building the Microsoft account in on my data warehousing, right? That we want to align Microsoft, they push up. We've been seeing some interesting conversations about in a few like this. Get position myself for opportunities in AI, BI, been able to see in past quarter, we've seen significant in some I've seen happen push to us. So next slide, please. So essentially, when we make abstract data, what easily comes to BI, right? So as part of our to get it or get more, will I say, get have more options around the Microsoft data ecosystem sense BI in itself, and is organization a lot of modernized current database or current data that are on-premise, right? And this is something we have the capability to into more conversation leads to my data from prem to Azure from one open source database. This is something that we have the capability. What we are looking forward for also data, right? In the last quarter alone, we've had about 5 for data. Also, and also shoots of some of the alignment that we have. We are beginning to see that we competency in house, and we can more businesses our way. And we want to also so within maybe extra within the organization, so that when we are going to market and communities on data warehousing, AI, data modernization and so forth, we know that we actually have the capacity some of it. So moving beyond more, will I say, to more interesting stuff. Next, so how are we looking to achieve like this? So I said we are building check conversation, see how we can even put clients and convert. One of the things that this is all we have of pre-sales or pre-sales conversion rate was relatively low. We able to correct on this like this. So in cost in some of these data products, and also we are currently in the process of technical, but it's more and have more mindset that suit executive on that we are able to take them confidently to market. We are taking sales costs, and because we're having lots of conversations anyways, so to speak the language that they get understand. Also, to manage resale, maybe not end to end, but be able to know that, oh, we can, if we have a lead, we can take this lead to closure and close a lead. It's like this. We're looking to, like I said, more workshops and webinars that in a day. Of course, Microsoft, because of the partner, we know that push the dashboard in a day is shops, and this is where the games in. So they need the language that 6 execs understand. So, and this is basically realization coming. How do we customer really help them solve each and every product or program like this. So we're also looking to be Power BI solution. This move started at the end of our company. Already have in place. I'm already just and then will become solutions now. Becoming able to also pursue various special some advantages, of course. We will have Microsoft because we actually have the manager that is asking us through this. So we demonstrate that yes, we have this competence. So they have these small businesses, and then we are able to receive some engagements. Okay, crossing our pipeline, basically shows, you see that blue chart is really Power BI, right? Engagement pipeline for now. So some warehousing and also training and so really we are essentially looking at this from data. So the breakdown of the figure on how we are looking to create number. So Nigeria and Kenya and also next slide please. So we like I said, we have these core team members for around data, AI and even and so we are looking to across maybe get to the that we're able to have it aligns with where we are going, right? In more data engineering and more AI engineering and all. So we're going to have add team member 5 talents to the team we currently have, and then we have the business development manager, like I said. So I believe from going to I came to speak to
So, talking about the first thing that we're gonna for 2021. 2021 have areas we live there and put out some numbers, app and service we are. So those things are to be qualified provider into African firm. So currently have been listed OMS on yes. Thank you. So River we completed this construction for usage of. So aside that, we're able to in Microsoft. Is registered on Azure Market service. Also, we'll be able to sell trade to buy for Nigerian capital. We'll be able to sell to the capital market firm here in Nigeria. So aside that is the custom development that we do. So what is this development? This custom development build line application in the POA of agriculture, and we had for IPM. The two bets here tend to get in. We weren't able to get that is the SSDB which will have into our way of Linux projects. It is on Azure advanced representation, even and it is for app modernization. So just work with the same to achieve this that being satisfied, having this advanced specialization to more business. The next slide, please. From here of here in Nigeria, we have 12 proposals. We want three proposals for summary development, and we want two, and we want one. But in one, I will get to the first one and aside that, Microsoft our new job recruit. Last year, we were able to recruit 2 ISV. We were able to complete 5 1 PO for the apps. Next slide. Out of those numbers that clients sent, so we weren't able to win those as of winning those. We've actually identified areas part of modules. So we'll complain about primary applications, what are pricing modules. Will we actually look right dish out to clients? Is all this time used? Continue into this year. I think we've actually got was this organization migration and action plans will be shelved down to major costs around customer development itself, then making IIM application through and YouTube was software development. Next slide, please. So how do we plan to actualize all these plans? More custom development, then be able to work on this, like with graded and be able to come up with all numbers or actualize numbers that we put up for ourselves or that we pay out. Can customers through the migration that existing cloud to cloud optimization, which is the first day, which is in our one existing or current managed services to be able to move down to cloud applications. So if you can move to the next slide, then we talk about major each INS itself, platform as a service, is looking to what more within this. Next slide, please. Part of the services, as we mentioned earlier, is trade office. So this year, 2022, trade office has been officially a software as a service. So now every that we trade office on it of service level deliveries. So aside that, we tail line precise. So these two look to customize IBAN for current Nigeria. That is customer on banking. Aside that is the customer application development via desktop apps, web apps, and mobile applications. So part of what is in the past is to get make customer development deals. Current 3 or 4 current and we just sales team doing what's for terms of this way. Aside is our custom integrations to bring to help organizations currently have line of business application, further line of business what currently have. So that what that will for various across various regions that run. Please. Service delivery major, the major ones we've always been talking about readiness for preparations for the people, as in the case of app zone, like in the case of jobs and training for AKS and KDFG, state government of recent this year. Aside that, custom solution development, earlier, your area, trade office, and iBanking custom solutions. Next, go to strategy. So if you look at number workshops and all these trainings, move down activity hunting, training, and all these sports workshop, two of the coming in comes from our university. So also the POC effort have been doing as well. is fully demo where give all that we've done. So, like we mentioned, it's on key area applications to pop in for us. So we talk about the OSDB specialization, about Kubernetes specialization that so can come out. Specification, and it's in for the second quarter. So more deals on those can come along our way. So about talent management, become aside the fact that we want to being able to all engagement. Our strategy in terms of engagement is to job key areas tools that we use in this level in just in what shops is just send Microsoft like this. So every time we tend to look into what we have and that we have just reinforce ourselves, our actions. Looking at the current look at things, areas we need to strengthen. So talk about and so that's where jobs to pricing things around proposals. That's why we look at BDMs, that's a business development manager, not as that speak which to the core development. Then one quality action, all the custom products churning out from the unit. Mentioned now INS is around or the development and integration and business. So we also need a to help manage. Next slide, please. Strategy and our so we have a mandate to make it by this year, and that's what's achieved. So application that now want to sort the applications out to be more like using the same using this is now do all down to inventory management, things management as we all go to down the SO team to push it forward by the end of this quarter. That is our development. So what we require is across the as a help with this and for this really good half of and by we don't they are free that we what we can do have set up for this quarter. Next. So with regard the SOT, then the SE closer engagement when it comes like to have energy and so these closer engagements also closer in service delivery engagements like in the terms in the case of advanced or INS LSA loan, this specialization, the server is need to look through and help to get specialization. That's it about the strategy. Currently being formed and that's the ones that will be
point of platform service. What will it be?
platform strategy. Thank you. Next slide. The strategy you need to lift all data engagement IWUs and ISV requirements around app modernizations and all platform engagement. Now tends to do all engagement around the IWU number from 2022 get just around platform. The INS strategy to platforms more like cross Azure area when it needs and so that they was based on all that we have across all and IS as we operate those ones that we talk about in terms of team all these representations of various clients from Africa. So that the PLS platform is the port across AKS. Next slide. Yeah. So the various service of Azure DevOps with migration, then and the need to our special instances, Azure and app mode. This on INS plate currently following so I mentioned earlier, it's not a straight swoop for them to just run all shoulder. Need with INS new units of new lots of so all will be carried so still until the second the teams in on PS we will be able to stand alone and provide all services that so what to DE open all PS engagement with S and all open engagement with SO all TV on that then second quarter in the starting with PLS but it's still on INS. Right, please. Certification that the certification that we need to fire for PLS team include this application. This is the application the OSSDB specialization that we get with the site Kubernetes specialization that we need to get all from our we actually any but we are on so we need OSS and specialization and the required so and more. Thank you.
Okay, so after you put out some numbers, something $1,000, which I want to take cut across expense. Is that? So that's so where is the number? You see numbers for fish, okay? No. After engage areas we choose. Please. Next. Yes. Revenue. The revenue values in organization. Why 20 means the visualize? Wow. Is this hard? A business executive not communicating back to me. I want to everybody to hear my perspective. You know, this does not what you want to deliver across any yeah. So what's the total? You can just quickly sum it. So let's go that. To bring business. Does Apple have converting?
So they don't.
They don't. So they don't any services.
So part of the people to app services. Their apps.
Have any of Reliance Infosystems. So we need to also CSP that are going to be running right services to generate number consumption, not ACR. Fidelity within solution. That's ACR. From pay perspective, that directly contributes to your number of revenue. Think of strategy that, you know, today I want to think that what consumption as still within mission portfolio, able to take out and case what you guys are associated with them.
Okay.
That's my concern. From that, I'm not sure that this could not number 370 is all on number we are trying to.
Okay, so the INS 77 277. Right. For
Where is it?
it's near the beginning.
This is the only that has number. So that's 27?
7.
Okay. So that's. Is it DAS or INS?
This is that
Okay. What about INS?
you saw.
That's it has not connect number. That I was worried.
Okay. But together for Synapse that is helping us do. So likely going to exceed this figure. But we decided to on maybe by Q2 we revise our running rate. So next presentation, very however that presentation concern. I want to ask the question that's taken to my also challenge. That while we have very highly competent, I think in terms of tech, we're there. So from all that you've said, it's not today. I mean, if I was person, it's difficult for post something and be about and then draw my street and do whole year plans out. It's not just my unit have that same problem also. Throw it up so that we all look at it. Anything that we do to really, oftentimes we talk about, but the personal experience has to come, and that's to how our teams, how do they understand this solution? I'm here him now. I don't know to say, well, that guy presented, I don't know if he was a topic. Apart from looking at the situation, even to improve about how we have evolved, is that in a situation where somebody stumble on a time on our website, for instance, I know they're doing it a lot. They're doing it. But how would someone come to our website know that we can actually deliver this? But for example, from my side, for example, from Share, for instance, is when someone like I comes to me and said, someone SharePoint is to us is quite. There are a lot of in SharePoint archiving. The process, it could be document management, it could be document control, where you have movements and approval. Process automation. You got what I'm saying? Or it could be just simple collaboration. You want to put in and then do something with the customer doesn't need to see our sales person before we have all. I'm discussing with my guy that it's something I've seen is that maybe SharePoint, you click that, and then you see all of these that are there, and then as you click, keep select things, it kind of part of you sees that kind of what they are required of you. You can kind of have all of that. Now, we should expect customer to contact this person to
that kind of information already. Talking about. When we get to probably going to more clarity and a whole lot of. Then you realize that not buying, you exactly know what it is. But one of the issues today is that we have a whole lot of competition, we have a whole lot of solutions, a whole lot of things we've built. I think are not if you go a lot of solutions to the customer, I'm sure this he probably don't know what we have. Maybe the customer had something with him and he didn't even know we have these things. It's something I'm worried about, something I'm concerned about. We could show you down here. You know what I'm showing. For what you've said, the whole we need to find this out. We need to learn not to be something I've been talking about. And then to look at the salesperson selling, when it comes to technical, the technical of the customer, if you go to most companies, they have a section where you want to put it. But the first page you see talks about what that product we do for you, the problem solve, and the market that or the industry. So I don't know if I'm
understand you, and we discussed this thing quite a bit. We didn't come to any conclusion. Things we agree that everybody needs to be involved. If you remember your reaction then when we were discussing about technical being to sell supporting pre-sale engagement. One of the things put by Maiwa and a number of other individuals is right. It's usually a word. So when you tell SQL Server to 2019. Faster, processes XML, data types, you know, things like that. Immediately, but how do we get there? How do we force? So, think less when you're engaging with customers. I think the firm can support in the course taken during career dem some of the sessions. Said it led more about the situation and the other person. It's a measure of empathy and humility required. Where you focus, can I make this happen? This pain life. I think if we practice more, it will help us sell our product. It will help us the message that the thing Swana is taking along that we're having between teams and E to help them understand the mental level they're putting on the table. What does it really mean? For me, us and are more. I think that's also responsible for follow the different approach. But for instance, relatively on AKS deals, the fundamental he understands is the because every they call for him everything that they want to do, and they and support, you know. So I think at the end, everybody
let's introduce the Nigeria SO team. The last team. Sorry, Lagos. Let's welcome them with
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gab. I'm here with members of customer success outcome. Definitely, in a projecting basically quite on in retrospect about targets allotted to every quarter. So we'll be looking at the strategic roadmap for FY22. Not just that, we'll be looking into business strategies, and also we're going to look at new customer as well as focus. So with me, I have Musa, I also have Tim Akabi, I have Jacob, and Abimbola Wadi. So I'm going to hand over to take it up from.
next
So what we have on this slide, last year we had a target and we broke it. Code we see that in the second quarter our estimated will make 40. In the third quarter 5%, in the fourth 2% of the sum. Next slide. So revenue $6,943,008. So, contrary to our projections that include large share, we ended up making the bulk fourth quarter. In the first 1.5 um, in the third quarter 1.9, and in the fourth quarter 7 million. Over the course of the year, Lagos 60 new customers. Thank you. We broke the customers by quarters. Customer, government, and business. So in Q1, customers 6 customers, 21 new customers, 6 new customers. Points are email to take us through our business model strategy. Next, please. Our business model is as written by the razor blade, as well as the freemium jacket. Talk about the to razor blade model. So this is small tactics which we plan to categorize dependent products and to sell them either low cost or at the cost price. Bearing in mind that we're going to generate loss to set it low. And why we're using this model is because it's proven over time out there that it forms a reliable form of current so it's more like the data approach where you analyze your customers with pretty much very low. That one vulnerable products alongside it. For the premium, with idea, well, and that can be by licenses, knowing that or in the situation where you give a free solution, and at that point in time, I want to extend additional service, additional change in the initial free feature, the cost premium together. So, and this is being taken.
Thank you. Please. Before I speak to this slide, I also want to say that we enjoyed cooperation from across board house, from DAS to other units, and we are committed to leveraging on that energy in-house to be able to engage our customers the more, and while looking out and fighting hard to acquire new customers. So to our focus areas for FY 2022, we have subdivided this into section. We've segmented our projected revenue, which is all the figures I'm going to be talking about are in USD, 9 million USD. That is what our projected target is for FY 22. And the segment, like I said, we have the security, every workload that speaks to security. We have modern work, we have IT infrastructure, we have business application, and we identify that one of our
core strength in Reliance Infosystem is Microsoft and Sophos. So we have also dedicated a leg also to Sophos itself. Then there's a column, or sorry, a cycle, a very larger circle there. There are some products in which we do not have so much strength, and we're harnessing strength from the team and from the management, from leads we get, to be able to pursue such markets, such as Cisco, such as Convert, Red Hat, and the likes. So I'll speak to the percentage and the projected figures, the numbers attached to them. Now, the security speaks to 5% of a projected 9 million USD. Modern work takes 25%, which is 2,250,000 USD. We have IT infrastructure, which accounts for 10%, which is 900,000 USD. Now, I'll skip the bigger circle. We'll go to business application. Workloads that are around business application is also 5%, which is 450,000 USD. And like I said, Sophos, we're dedicating 15% to Sophos, which accounts for 15%, and 1,350,000 USD. Now, the bigger circle, like I explained the other time, are those products in which we're not very strong at, but we're getting pipelines for them and want to enhance strength and pursue them and enlarge the market in the organization. Like I said, Cisco, Convert, Red Hat, and all other products, those will be taking 5%, which is 450,000 USD. Now, this is the first part, and it speaks to 65% of the 9 million USD that I said initially. So the total sum we have here is 5,850,000 USD. So I'm going to hand over to the amazing Abimbola to speak to the other slide that has the additional focus areas. That speaks to 35% of the total, which is 3,150,000 USD. Abimbola, welcome.
Okay, thank you, team. So I would basically be talking about our other focus areas. So we identified that last FY, we did not actually do so much based on these areas. These are like our low-hanging fruits. So we'll be talking about the 6 areas, which are IPs, that's our intellectual properties, which will be taking like 2%. Then managed services will take the same 3%, which is over, and it will be translating to like 270K. Then trainings, that's like 2%. This would also translate to about 180K in dollars, actually. Then pre-sales engagements, this will take over 6%, which will be translating to about 540K. And then the last and the final one, which is consumption, we identified that this would take like generate major revenue from our expected or targeted revenue for FY22. So based on these 6 areas, we have a total of 35%. Right? We have a total of 35%. Overall, we have like 3.150. Yeah, $3.150. So based in view of everything we've said, right, we'll actually be running on a quote by Anthony Robbins, which says, setting goals is the first step in turning invisible to visible. Thank you.
question? Any question for the team? Any question for the team? Any question for the team?
One goes to Imo. So you talked about so you talked about strategy that you want to use, and then you're talking about whether the management will help you, blah blah blah, and all of that. Now, so have you had any conversation with the respective production unit to agree on the strategy, or you think you just want to leverage only on licenses? Because there are other models apart from licensing that you can actually leverage, or you can actually adopt or utilize. The NLR team, they just did something now. The other team, they did something, and the others will come up. So I think everybody wants to sell. We all want to have more customers. That's why all of us, that's why we're here. So that's the question.
Okay, to some level, yes. I think the freemium is not something that's too new to us. I know we've had some engagements where we had 4 months free, and the rest paid, and some of the things that we have.
Yeah, but they didn't talk about that just on their own side, because they understand. But it's possible that if you come up with a plan, because they see, they also have the burden of trying to educate you on that. That's something they need to work on. So imagine if it's coming from you, it means that it lessens the whole work, or it makes the job much more easier.
I understand you. The plan is actually to engage all the production units on this, and to see how we can drive this forward.
Someone has a question there.
Thank you for the presentation. So I have like a proposal. The way I see it, DS and SO are supposed to be partners. So I'm proposing we have frequent engagement, maybe bi-weekly sync meeting on current sales activities, challenges you're facing in the market while talking to customers. So maybe you're talking to a customer and you see you're hitting a blocker. Based on your conversation, you can come back to us with how your engagement is going. We can see how to push content to that customer while you're engaging them as they go to social media, maybe their emails. They're getting content that speak to those particular areas that they have doubts in. You understand me? So the more we're able to help you close deals, the better for the company and the better for you as well.
I think you have another question.
All right. Thank you very much. My question is, are there challenges? I didn't see highlights of challenges faced in terms of selling power platform, right? And I think, I'm more concerned. So are there challenges faced in terms of trying to sell the power platform licenses, and how are we looking at overcoming those challenges? Sorry, am I audible enough? So I'm saying in terms of power platform, I didn't see a slide showing about the challenges faced in terms of trying to sell the power platform licenses, and what we are looking at to overcome those challenges, right? so we can actually have a keynote to take and see how we can actually improve on that particular aspect. And so that's just my own and the team's concern in terms of the power platform. Are there challenges faced, and how are we looking at resolving those challenges? Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. I see there's someone else.
I intend to enlarge briefly Mr. Chris's question. So in enlarging it, my question will be, what challenges are you facing with selling business applications? By that, I'm enlarging it to comprise Power Platform, Dynamics, and the respective IPs within the organization, some of which has been showcased today, like Trade Office. My second question is, at the last conclave, one of the big bets being considered organization-wide strategically is pre-sales engagement. The reason being that most of the margin of profit that we get from licenses may not be sufficient to carry overheads. And one of the big bets we looked at then were some of these pre-sales engagements. But when I looked at the numbers, the numbers I saw for pre-sales seems quite low. And I think for pre-sales engagement at the last conclave, what we were seeing organization-wide then was around 4 million. So what are we doing to connect with that that vision for the organization?
Okay, good evening, everyone. So for the business application, right, you asked for the challenges we're facing. One of our major challenges is the cost. It's very expensive. In terms of beating the competition, though we are overcoming it now, reference, we don't have enough customer reference. Because there are some customers you want to deal with, even at the point of closure. They're asking you for reference. At that point, we are stopped. And another thing, the life cycle is very long. This kind of engagement, most times, based on experience, we take at least 6 months to 1 year to close one deal on business application. So on the average, what I've noticed so far is we do like 2 of business application deals in a year. And this year, we are planning on improving on that because we have a lot on our pipeline. And now we also have customer reference. So that's it for that. Which other question?
Hello. Oh, so I'm audible. I have, thank you so much for the presentation. I have seen the business model that has been shared by Mr. Jacob, and it has involved freemium. That's what you call it. So you offer basic services at no cost, and then there's an incremental charge on supplementary or additional features, right? So my question is not really to Jacob, but to our MD, Mr. Yemi, is what's his take on that, because it's part of undercutting the competitor. I'm not sure he heard me.
I wasn't listening. forgive me.
Okay, so
Where is the person speaking? Okay.
yes, so I'll take that again. I've seen their model, their business model, and part of it is on freemium, offering freemium, and that is basic at no cost and then additional incremental. So from the way I see it, I may be wrong, but it's part of probably undercutting competition. And I just want to ask, what's your take on that? Because it's subject to management approval. So
we have always used that model to suck in new prospects, and we'll continue to do that. You know, as so we consider it as we front load investment at the beginning to suck the customer in, and over time we recover from that investment. Do you understand? So, which particular product are they featuring for premium? Which product do you guys feature for premium?
M365 solutions.
Yeah. And just for your knowledge, there's this campaign we're trying to launch that's probably going to happen from April. You want to come and talk about it a bit so that everybody becomes aware. Tuto, please. Omobowale. I'm not saying you should make presentation. No. You are carrying computer.
Okay. So the idea is for us to, because we are still working on traction in the new markets, which is Kenya, Botswana, and then Pakistan. So we want to run a campaign in which we would be able to offer M365 to customers. This will be new, obviously, not renewals. Okay, and they will be able, I think, 6 months first, right? 1 year, okay. Yes, and the minimum we have for the number of users that they can onboard, right, is 100 seats. Okay, so for that period, they'll be able to utilize add on to this as well. What we intend to do, which we are coming on board with solution assessments, and we want every solution assessment that is either ongoing or to happen, to have all the other business units also be involved. So if we are having a customer, either we are at the discovery level and we want to push them to other solutions, we are assessing. Okay, so we want everyone to come on board. In that way, we, at the very basic level, are able to identify the other potentials within the account. So we don't have to wait. Immediately after, let's say maybe we started with business applications, but we also identified a need for also like to incorporate as part of the work that we are doing in our sales activities, in our pre-sales, and the way we
to drive customers attraction is so we want customers to self-nominate themselves for the use of 100 seats of Microsoft 365 Basic. So, and at this moment, I think I'll probably just want to add Nigeria and Ghana. Nigeria and Ghana is not part of the design, but I think there's really no reason why we shouldn't add. By the time we are going to school, more people are likely going to nominate.